Okay, so one of my favourite artists is Cornelia Parker, and this is a piece of hers called Einstein Abstract, and it is not a photograph of the universe. It is actually a macro close-up of a blackboard, a very specific blackboard. It's this blackboard, which is the one that Einstein wrote his equations when he was delivering his lecture on the theory of relativity in 1931 in Oxford University. And it's a beautiful example, I think, of how maths transforms into space, into stars. As a child, I loved the works of Ray Bradbury, and particularly a story of his called A Sound of Thunder, which was about this man who went back in time to hunt a T-Rex. But at the moment when he saw the T-Rex, he was so overcome with the size of it that he tried to run away. He was terrified, and he stood on a butterfly. And so he altered the course of human history, the future. And so when he returned to the present, he heard this sound of thunder way off in the distance, and everything changed inutterably. Ray Bradbury also wrote The Martian Chronicles, which was a great series, a TV series that I watched as a child. And it was about immigration and migration and themes of identity and longing and leaving your home. And it was about a group of people who left Earth and they travelled to Mars. And unfortunately, they killed the Martians because they brought a virus with them by accident, but that's a whole other thing. And on Mars, anyway, in the year 2005, a war started on Earth. So a lot of the settlers returned back to Earth. And then, unfortunately, in 2076, the Earth was annihilated. And so all the Earthlings died, and there were very few settlers remaining on Mars, and they were very isolated. They were the last humans in the solar system. And I really identified, I don't know, as a child I moved around a lot, and I found this very, this exploration of identity very important. There was a family left on Mars, and the children always wanted to see Martians. Their dad always said, I'll bring you out to show you Martians. So one day, he takes them on a canal, on a boat, and they spend the day on the canals of Mars, and then that night they light a fire, they go camping, and he brings them to the water's edge, and they lean over and they look into the water, and he says, there are the Martians, and it's them. Migration and travel is such a huge part of being an organism on this planet. Everything migrates and moves. Viruses, germs, information, memes. People migrate for many, many different reasons, for economic pressures, wars. Thousands of people are leaving Syria right now. Famines, as we all know. And the obstacles that migrants face aren't always mountains and rough seas, but they can be red tape, Schengen law, alien status, or multilingual documentation that they have to provide. And given that we have such a close relationship with migration and emigration in this country, it always makes me think of how the first migrants are often explorers. They're the people who really had to push boundaries. This is Brendan the Voyager, not the most charismatic of men. However, some people do think that he discovered America. And I think this idea of exploration, nowadays, exploration is not something that happens just on land or at sea. It's something that happens on a cellular level and on an atomic level. Everything is up for exploration, and cyberspace has become this huge, huge area. It's a whole new realm that has opened up for all of us. On Twitter, I follow NASA Voyager 2, and if you don't follow NASA Voyager 2, you really should start. I think this animating of a spacecraft by NASA is one of the most incredible, imaginative and artistic installations I have ever seen. You can tweet Voyager 2 and it will tweet back to you. You can ask it questions. Voyager 2 left this planet in 1977. It's 5 years younger than me, but I always did like younger spacecraft. And I love it. It's travelling through our solar system with its sister ship, Voyager 1. The cosmic winds which have been propelling it at, well, I suppose blowing at 1 million miles an hour have now slowed down to 250,000 miles an hour. In 236,000 years, Voyager 2 will reach Sirius. And ladies and gentlemen, we will all be long gone. And I just think when I think that at any point in the next days, weeks, months, it could be happening right now. We don't know. They're crunching the data. Voyager 1 is going to leave the solar system, and it will be the very first piece of humanity to leave our solar system. Look, it looks quite like a cell membrane. Anyway, and when it punches through, who knows what's going to happen? Are we going to hear a sound of thunder? We're going to wake up some morning and everything will be different, but we won't know. I find that fascinating. Voyager has also sent back some incredible photos, and they do think in the next 10 years that Voyager 2 and Voyager 1, well, their batteries are going to die, but they hope before it does die that they'll look back and they'll just take one last photo of what we look back. And I believe that that last photo that they send back to us is going to be us looking into the canals and seeing the reflections. Thank you.